Hello friends, my name is Shaikh Oshi and today I am going to discuss about batch processing and transaction management. So, I am going to discuss it by keeping in my mind that you guys are having basic knowledge of Jdbc and database softwares. So, what is batch processing? See, when we trying to send multiple queries from our Java application to the database software, we don't send it one by one because that will increase the network round trips between Java application and the database software, and that will affect our performance of the Java application. So that we instead of that we bind all of these queries to a batch and send that batch once to the database software, so that all the queries goes to the database software and execute there individually, and the output of the each query is again bind to the batch, and batch will came to our Java application with the outputs. So that the whole network round trips will be decreased and our performance of the application will increase. So let's take an example. If we have 10 queries to send to the database software, so we didn't if we send individually, it will take 10 round trips to send that queries to the database software. So if we and again after executing that that will came to our Java application again in 10 round trips. So totally 20 round trips will require to send 10 queries to the database software. So if instead of that, if we bind all the 10 queries to our database software, so to our batch, and send once to the database software, so that it will take only 2 round trips, once for sending and another for receiving. So that will decrease on the whole round trips, and that will increase our performance of the Java application. So here one thing is important, that is we can't send select queries in a batch, because we only send a non-select query like insert, delete, update. So why we can't send select queries in a batch? Because select queries gives output as a collection of data, means and that will require a result set to store the data. So uh, for executing this batch of queries, we use one method called execute batch, and the return type of that execute batch is a int array. So all of these non-select queries, they return one integer, means if 10 queries to we send to insert data 10 data, so that will return 10 queries 10 queries what inserted, or 10 queries deleted, or 10 queries 10 rows deleted, or 10 rows deleted, or 10 rows updated, or 10 rows inserted. So that we will store in a int array. If but that result set we can't store in that int array. So that we only send non-select queries in a batch. So and another one thing is we need to focus that in batch processing, if we send 10 multiple queries, then if one or two queries fail to execute, then that will doesn't affect the other queries. Other 8 queries will executed, and we got output. And which queries will don't execute, in that output we get a 0. So here one thing, And in the other side, transaction management is opposite of batch processing. If we want transaction management, then we have to add some extra logic to the batch processing, so that if one query is failed, then another query is also failed. That will be discussed later. What are the use cases? Use cases like inserting student registration. Like in college, we have to insert let's say we have to insert 10 student details. So we have instead of inserting one by one, we can insert in a row. So like employee table and money transfer, like these are the use cases. So and railway ticket reservation. so uh, so uh, till now what we discussed is about a simple statement. So what about the prepare statement? So prepare statement doesn't take multiple queries. So it is having only one pre-compiled queries, but the parameter are different. So instead of binding the queries, here we bind the parameters in a batch. So that it will go to the database software, and it will having one precompiled query already. So and that all these parameters goes to the database software, and they're executed individually, and again bind to that batch, and again we got the output. So what are the use cases here? Here the best example for the batch processing using prepare statement is our railway ticket reservation. So in railway ticket reservation, we let's what let's say for we railway ticket group in a group railway ticket reservation. So if we booking 10 railway ticket reservation in a group. So we never book one by one. So we will take that data, take that the 10 people data, and we'll execute one. Will book the ticket once. So it is all about batch processing. Let's talk about transaction management. Transaction management is the process of combining related operation and executing them by applying the principle of doing everything or nothing. So the use cases are like examples are like money transfer. So in that money transfer, there are two operations. One is money should be withdrawn from one source account, and money should be deposited to the destination account. So if one operation failed, then others should need to be failed. Otherwise, it will be very complicated and very difficulties. Then you clients should face so many difficulties. In order to enhance our application, in order to enhance our performance of the application, we need to go for the transaction management. By default, batch processing doesn't perform transaction management. We need to add extra logic to over batch processing, so that it will perform transaction management. So basically, transaction management contain three operations. First, first is to disable auto commit mode. So by default, all these non-select queries, they go to the database software. They're auto committed. If they once they go to the database software, they are executed and they auto committed. So we need to disable auto commit. So for auto committing, we need to use this method set auto commit false. So all these we call from the connection object. So all these method we need to call from connection object. So so and the second thing that is add all these queries to a batch and process and send to the database software. And the third is to commit or rollback. So based on the second result, based on the result of int array, means if one query, if all queries are executed, then only go for the commit. So if one query from all of these multiple queries fail, then go for the rollback operation. So we will commit and rollback in com dot commit method, and by using com dot commit method and com dot rollback method respectively. So so let's take the example of bank transfer. So here two operations are money should be deducted from source account, and money should be deposited to destination account. So here first we need to bind these operation to the batch and send to the database software. If the money is deducted, and if one of this query, one of them is failed, then other should need to be failed. So that is it for this topic, like batch processing and transaction management. I hope you will like it. So this is it for today's session. I'm Shaikh Oshi signing off. Let's see you in a next video. So thank you.